Chapter 15 Epilogue. By the time Tetsuya stopped talking, they had reached the carpentry workshop. Thank you for your company, he said to the boy, but the boy did not leave. How can I know if I am doing the right thing? How can I be sure that my eyes are concentrating, that my posture is elegant, that I am holding the bow correctly? Visualize the perfect master always by your side and do everything to revere him and to honor his teachings. This master, whom many people call God, although some call him the thing and the others talent, is always watching us. He deserves the best. Remember your allies too. You must support them because they will help you at those moments when you need help. Try to develop the gifts of kindness. This gift will allow you to be always at peace with your heart. But above all, never forget that when I have told you might perhaps be words of inspiration, but they will make sense only if you experience them yourself. Tetsuya held out his hand to say goodbye, but the boy said, one other thing. How do you learn to shoot a bow? Tetsuya thought for a moment. Was it worth telling the story? Since this had been a special day, he opened the door to his workshop and said, I am going to make some tea and I am going to tell you the story. But you have to promise the same thing I made the stranger promise. Never tell anyone about my skill as an archer. He went in, put on the light, wrapped his bow up again the long stripe of leather and placed it out of the sight. If anyone stumbled upon it, they would think it was just a piece of wrapped bamboo. He went into the kitchen, made the tea, sat down with the boy, and began his story. I was working for a great nobleman who lived in the region. I was in charge of looking after his stables, but since my master was always traveling, I had a great deal of free time and so I decided to devote myself so what I considered to be the real reason for living drink and woman. One day after several nights without sleep I felt dizzy and collapsed in the middle of the countryside, far from anywhere. I thought I was going to die and gave up all hope. However, a man I had never seen before happened to pass along that road. He helped me and took me to his house, a place far from here, and nursed me back to health during the months that followed while I was recovering. I used to see him sit out every morning with his bow and arrows. When I felt better, I asked him to teach me that art of the bow. It was far from interesting than looking after horses. He told me that my death had come a great deal closer, and that now I could not drive it away. It was just 2 paces away from me, for I had done great physical harm to my body. If I wanted to learn, it would only be in order to keep death from touching me. A man in a far off land on the other side of the ocean had taught him that it was possible to avoid for some time the road that led to the principle of death. But in my case, for the rest of my days, I needed to be aware that I was walking along the edge of this abyss and could fall into it at any moment. He taught me that way of bow. He introduced me to his allies. He made me take part in competitions and some my fame spread throughout the land. When he was that I had learned enough, he took away my arrows and my target, leaving me only the bow as a souvenir. He told me to use his teachings to do something that filled me with real enthusiasm. I said that the thing I liked most was carpentry. He blessed me and asked me to live and to devote myself to what I enjoyed doing most before my fame as an archer ended up destroying me or led me back to my former life. Every second since then has been a struggle against my vices, against self pity. I need to remain focused and calm to do the work I choose to do with love and never to cling to the present moment because death is still very close. The abyss is there beside me and I am walking along the edge. Tetsuya did not say that death is always close for all living beings. The boy was still very young, and there was no need for him to think about such things. Tetsuya did not say either that the way of the boy is present in any human activity. He merely blessed the boy just as he had been blessed many years before and asked him to leave because it had been a long day and he needed to sleep.